Hello guys, I want to make a section for where I can teach you guys how to be a better player. So let's start with the first one. I think what most people ask me is like, what maps I should play. Should I play jumps? Should I play streams? What practice maps are there? But in my opinion, I think it's just actually playing what you like, and then eventually getting those mods on, the mods that are suitable for you. That's what I would recommend. But of course, everyone has their own style of play, and of course, a style of play style is gonna be another topic for another day. But today, I'm gonna talk about something essential in playing OSU and improving as a player. And that one thing is counting rhythm. Now, counting rhythm is basically what OSU is made of, because everything is music. And as a rhythm game, everything has rhythm. So by counting the rhythm, you can understand the beat map more, and you can click on your notes with more 300s and less 50s and 100s. Well, unless you're Ming, of course. But if you want to improve as a player overall, I think counting rhythm is one of the most essential parts to improving. And I'm gonna explain a little bit about rhythm here. And starting off with 1-1 rhythms, they are basically the most simple and basic rhythms, and they can be found basically on every map and every difficulty. The most common would be on easy difficulties, such as these two, as they are spaced. Let's see. Yeah, if I take it to 1-1, you can see that this and this is spaced as 1-1, which means, because this is a 4-4 time scale, as we can see, where is it? Yeah, here. It's 4-4. So basically what this means is you see a big white tick here, and there will be 4 beats. So 1, 2, 3, 4 before the next big white tick. And this is called the downbeat. And Pishifat can explain that better than I can, but here I'm just going to talk about how not dense this rhythm is, because this is the most basic one. As you can see, it's pretty slow. This one's also spaced 1-1, this one as well. So like, you can see that you can count from there. From here, okay, we can start from here. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So you can basically count. It's on the either 1, 2, 3, or 4. And this is like the least dense of all rhythms. So the next thing would be counting half rhythms on easier difficulties. Half rhythms are spaced pretty close, and on slow parts as well. These are 1-1s, and then these are halves. This one, as you can hear, like the rhythm is more dense than 1-1 rhythms, and yeah, kind of have to distinguish between 1-1s and half rhythms, so you know when to click. Because for 1-1s, your finger comes down slower, but for half rhythm notes, you get more density, so you have to click a bit faster. And of course, half notes are basically one of the most used notes. I mean, most used rhythms. And you can find them in the hardest difficulties, mostly expressed as jumps. Well, this is not a good example because, well, yeah, it's mapped in 1/4. Well, I can show you a much better example. You know, mapper we all love. Okay, I'm not using this as an example. Okay, this is bad, but like, you know. Okay, let's skip to all these jumps. Like, you can see, these jumps, these are all half beats. So you click in a much higher density than 1/1s. Basically, how the rhythm is right now, okay, if we start from the downbeat, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically, the second note here on every red tick you see is filling the gap between the beats 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. And this is basically filling in between 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's why it's half of, it's like it's in between. So it's like half of these two would be in the middle. So you can count. Yeah, that would be about it for half notes. Basically, most of the jumps you see nowadays is in 2017. Well, should you be proud? I'm not sure, but they're the same as 1-2-1-2 jumps. They're all half beats. So these two are the most, I would say, basic rhythms. And then here comes a more complex rhythm, which is a stream. So how do you like count in streams? So let's see. Let's go to a map we all know and love. Okay, so you can see here everything is not here, sorry. Yeah, this part here, everything is snapped 1/4. So how do you count these? Like, you can't like sit here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 16, right? There are like 16 notes here. You can't do that. Basically, how I personally count these, because, okay, if you start with your index finger, for example, for every 5 notes, for every 1 beat, the 1/1 we talked about earlier, for every 5, the fifth one in 1/4s, if you start with your index finger, you end up with your index finger. So that's how I count, basically. So 1, and then I stream, and I know after 5 notes, I'll go back to my index finger, and that will be my second count. And then I know another 5 notes later, I'll end up on my index finger again, and on the third beat, the same thing, and until I go back to the first beat. Now, it takes practice and, of course, speed, but counting these streams are also very important because you should be able to distinguish how many times you have to click and how many times it goes back to your index finger or your middle finger if you start with your middle finger. These streams are in the whole whole 4/4 bar, that means one full bar. That means there are 4 white ticks, 4 1/1s. So for 1, 5, 9, 13, and the next combo, these 5 notes here, you end with your finger you start with. So that's how I personally count these streams. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. If you can hear that, I can slow that down. That's too slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can try using your fingers. If you start with one finger, you end up with the same finger on each of the 1/1s. So that's basically how I count my rhythms when I play streams. What's next? Let's see. There are also kick sliders. An example would be, oh crap. Everything Freeze has a lot of kick sliders. Yeah, that's one right there. So how this works is it's basically the same rhythm as the streams, but instead of clicking twice, you click once and the slider N has that sound for you. So basically, for me, I take it as like a half note. So if you remember what we talked about, the half jumps and how that density works, basically that's how you click it. You don't have to hold it for a very long time. You hold it for a fraction of a second longer than a usual circle, but that's it. So basically you can like single tap these. You can basically single tap these, and yeah, you just take these as like half rhythms. That would work because this starts on one rhythm and it goes on the red tick. So and you don't have to click anything on the end either. So you can take them as half rhythms. So these are kick sliders, and then we have something called a 4/4 time scale swing rhythm, and this is something not very common, but they still come up in maps, and it's not as common as 4/4, like half beats, but these are mapped in 1/3. So if you count, okay, let's start from the chorus. So you can count 4 beats, but that's not it yet. Okay, so yep, these things, if you listen to them, they're not usual streams. The density is very different from 1/4 streams. 1/3 rhythms are more dense than one half, basically. My English is bad, I'm sorry, but yeah. They're more dense than if you take a look at the editor. This is half. And this, oh wait. Sorry, it's less dense. My mistake. It's less dense, but it's more... Okay, yeah, it's more dense than half jumps when it comes to the 1/3 streams. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah. So, unless you're really fast at single tapping, you're probably gonna have to alternate these. Now, something about 1/3 rhythm is that they usually come in 4s or 2s. or 6. So they're not even, and they're not odd numbers, sorry. And what I talked about earlier about streams, of 1/4 streams, is that when you start with one finger, you end up with the same finger. But that's not the case here. If you start off with one finger, you end up with your other finger, because it's even number. You only end up with the same finger when it's odd number. So basically, this is 9 and this is 10, so this is even number. So these streams, if you start this with your index finger, you end up playing that slider, this slider, with your middle finger. So that's something to take note on. And yeah, so when you get 1/3 rhythms, most of the time, it's easier to play when you alternate these kind of rhythms, because even on streams, you can end up with a different finger anyways. So if you're already alternating, your fingers are automatically gonna be on a different finger because you're alternating and you're not single tapping. Well, unless you want to challenge yourself, but I'd say improving as a player, you should alternate these. Alternating is also a very important skill, especially playing 1/3s or 1/6. But 1/6 basically is the double time of this, so it's even more dense, and you need more finger movements, clicks, to get the notes, basically. So that's for 4/4 swing rhythms. And then there's one last one that's important as well. And that's gonna be 3/4 waltz rhythm. Now, waltz rhythm comes in 3s instead of 4s. So you can count, okay, from 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It doesn't come in 4s. Instead, it comes in 3s. So how you're going to play this is, well, you kind of read it, but like, if you have to know that 3/4 is different from 4/4, and you're going to have a new combo that comes up every 3 notes almost. So what you're going to look for is the downbeat. So that's where you count the 1. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's going to be how you count these waltz rhythms. And that's going to help you to understand the map more, because when you count while you're playing, well, not like in your mind, but maybe you can tap your legs or kind of like bite your teeth or something and kind of like count the rhythm. And then eventually your head will get used to it. But I know for some people, you kind of get the rhythm straight away. Well, then congratulations, you're a talented rhythm. I don't know, very talented person that knows about music, unaware of their condition, because, yeah, I'm just saying bullcrap, but you get what I mean. You're not normal. So, yeah, that's gonna be counting rhythms. So, can you guys just tell me if you want some other topics to be covered? I'm thinking of reading, aiming. Of course, there can be more specific topics, such as improving as a player in attitude, and how to read maps based on who mapped it, and mapping styles, play styles, tap X, alternate, single tap, mouse player, tablet player, whatever. Any interests in those topics, do leave a comment and I'll see what I can do. And hopefully you've enjoyed this video. And yeah.